What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, the patch notes for the Season 4 Reloaded update have dropped early, and there is so much to go over, so let's get started. We have global movement updates, additional improvements to player collision that could cause players to get stuck when colliding with each other, particularly when teammates are prone. Then they did some weapon balance changes. They said their focus is attachment tuning, so every single gun got some attachment tuning. They said portfolio-wide improvement to attachments to have lower usage, targeted weapon-specific changes to enable new builds, and among the list of attachments receiving buffs across all weapons are short barrel, lightweight foregrip, precision foregrip, fast motion laser, target laser, and combat stock. Now, just to give you an example, so like the XM4, it shows right here recoil springs and then all of that. I'm not going to read every single one of these, but you'll notice every attachment ended up getting an improvement in some sort of way. So you'll see improvement increase every time you see that, probably a buff. So all these attachments, buffs, every single AR, I believe, ended up getting one of these. You can feel free to pause the video. I'll like sort of do it slower so that way you can pause if there's a particular weapon that's your favorite. But from what it's looking like here, every single weapon looks. So now the SMGs, same sort of thing. So the penalty was reduced, meaning that it was buffed. And then KSV, the Tonto, the PP919, Jackal PDW. By the way, this part is just for multiplayer. So we haven't even jumped into like the Warzone side of things. So all the SMGs, shotguns as well, everything ended up getting, yeah, look. So LMGs, sniper rifles, pistols. These are some changes. So for the special, the Siren 9mm lightweight foregrip idle sway improved, and then the nail gun increased the ammo from 15 to 20. So for those of you guys who thought it was pretty useless with 15 bullets, it now gets an additional 5. So for multiplayer modes, address the issue in demolition that allowed the bomb to be diffused from unintended distances. Some gunsmith issues, so address the issue that could prevent optics from being properly attached. Issues that cause certain underbarrel attachments to show as incompatible when equipped in the G-grip underbarrel. Equipment, address the issue where the underbarrel drill charge launcher projectiles could have looping audio. Score streaks increase damage per bullet for Death Machine from 20 to 30. Some UI updates were done as well. So for private match, and then one that could prevent the safe area and interface settings to be selectable. For rank play, they did do an update, so they've added these. Fringe and CDL Hardpoint, CDL Search and Destroy, Fringe, Vault, and Skyline, and CDL Control Rewind. Gunsmith firing range, address the issue that prevented the target dummy from moving to the correct damage range positions. Now here are the zombies updates. So the maps, address the issue with the map Geo near Deadshot Daiquiri Machine in the Tomb. Reduce the interaction time to call exfil. Address the issue where players may get blocked from moving forward after taking the Ascender in Terminus. Address the issue where a control panel displayed bright lights in Terminus. Then for Grief, they said they're back with more Grief updates, so they now go into more detail. And they said player-to-player interactions, we believe that slowing and pushing other players, as well as interrupting revives, are core to the Grief experience. However, we do not believe that interrupting other players' health regen has caused players to over-index into melee builds. Starting with Season 4 Reloaded, these player-to-player interactions will no longer interrupt the other player's health regen. Gobblegum update. So they said keep a close eye on the data. We're restricting Gobblegums that remove skill as an element of reviving your teammates in Grief. These include near-death experience, Phoenix Up, and Nowhere But Here. But now they've added new rewards. So there's a little extra encouragement for players to finish out the match. Grief will now serve as a new way to earn whimsical Gobblegums. The winning team will receive 2 random whimsicals. The other team will receive 1 random whimsical once victory and defeat are declared. So even if you lose, you're at least going to get something. And then it says Grief adjustments. We've previously mentioned that we don't believe Grief should be ignored or be able to be ignored. We've added some changes across the board in this update to make every captured zone. Additionally, after a captured zone has been completed, zombies will begin to enter the space faster to make sure there's a constant threat. And then they said they'll be looking for feedback. So here are the actual changes they did. Player-to-player interactions no longer interrupt player health regen. Near-death experience, Phoenix Up, all that restricted. Yeah, we've pretty much... And then they said adjustments. So ammo drain will now drain a player's field upgrade charge after weapon ammo has been drained. Duration extended to 60 seconds. Frozen, a player will now be completely frozen initially and will begin to thaw, eventually moving at 50% speed. Damage nerf duration extended to 60 seconds. And then weapon carousal no longer allows players to manually pick up weapons while grief is active. As for weapons, address issues with the Mecha Drake weapon blueprint, and then address the issue with the launcher projectiles from the underbarrel drill charge. For perks, address some issues with the sound effects in third person, address the issue with quick revive not being in the correct placement. And then equipment, some of these, you can feel free to pause if you want to look at the full, details on these. But yeah, there's adjustments to pretty much everything. So power-ups, loot, enemies, UI, graphics, and stability. Now, these are the older updates, but now we jump into the Warzone side of things. Now, for Warzone, it goes over like the events Beavis and Butthead that we covered in the last video, the map's adjustments. So Verdansk, the train is now rolling into half season with a few familiar upgrades. So added a buy station to the train, added a UAV tower to the train, and the UAV tower is disabled in Battle Royale ranked. For the modes, new. So Havoc Royale, limited time mode. They don't tell you when it's going to be releasing. It says brings chaos to Verdansk as operators drop into specific zones. And yeah, and it says below is a breakdown of some of the details. They give you like overview details on it, which we've already talked about before, the different power-ups that are available. I'm surprised it didn't give us the date. I believe there is a playlist photo that they're going to show here. Yep, there it is. So the playlist photo, Battle Royale, solos, duos, quads in Verdansk. Resurgence is going to be solos, duos, and quads. Rebirth Island, Plunder is going to be quads, Verdansk. Havoc, so it is going to be available within the first day, and that is going to be in quads. And then ranked play BR trios in Verdansk, ranked play in Resurgence trios, Rebirth Island. Battle Royale casual is going to be solos and quads on Verdansk, and Resurgence casual is also going to be available in quads. I like the fact that they're keeping quads in Resurgence regular, and they're also putting it in casual, which is something they weren't doing with Battle Royale previously. But now for ranked play, so it says returning Resurgence ranked play comes back, and then it says it's back in Warzone, bringing the intensity of Resurgence with the structure and integrity of competitive play. So here's the overview for it. So squad size is going to be trios, player count of 45 players, the map will be Rebirth Island. The SR is going to be gained in the following way. So team-based SR players can now earn SR collectively for all team kills and assists rather than individually. Updated SR system, so kill SR, placement SR, and division delta bonuses. Kill SR cap adjusted per round to align with the new team focus system. So awarded SR by placement, so top 15, placement SR 0. 13, you get 10, and then these are the bonuses you get. So it starts at 1, goes to 2, 3, and then 4, and that's how much you're able to get. Elimination rank delta, these are all the numbers here. And then deployment fee by rank, so bronze, no deployment fee, silver 30, 35, and then it goes on all the way to crimson 310, and then iridescent top 250, 100 SR plus 20 SR every 500 SR above 10,000. Additional mode detail, death penalties removed. We've removed death penalties from ranked Resurgence. While these penalties were originally intended to increase the value of each life, they often shifted the player's mindset from playing to win to playing to not die. Though encouraging survivability is valuable, we found this approach to be ultimately reducing the fun of competitive matches. And then restrictions shared with Battle Royale ranked. Buy stations, ranked, regulated inventory, public events, circle 3 is fire sale, circle 4 restock all other public events, and rewards. So shared rewards are unified across Battle Royale and Resurgence, which is probably one of the most disappointing things in my opinion. So I know some of you guys wanted like separate rewards for Resurgence, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And then they said mode specific progress tracking, seasonal elimination challenges, and division ring progress are tracked separately for Resurgence. Elimination milestone rewards, so 25 eliminations, a sticker, 250 a camo, etc. Then restrictions. The following items are now restricted in ranked play contracts: search and destroy, tactical equipment, experimental gas grenades, neurogas mines, and shock charges, lethal equipment, impact grenades. Now these changes are a part of the ongoing effort to maintain competitive integrity. Going on to the loot and economy. So the adjustments, all modes, new weapons added to ground loot. Season 4 weapons are now available as ground loot across all core modes. Battle Royale, they added the care package kill streak. Rare loot in Battle Royale, it offers the following. So specialist hand cannon, bunker buster, armor satchel, self-revive, etc. One of these or for a chance to get them, so it won't get it every time. And then Resurgence Plunder, updated lootable perks, so Shrouded, Irradiated, Loot Master, Cold Blooded, Reactive Armor, Bird's Eye. For the contracts, they did some adjustments to them. So Most Wanted spawns, contracts will only begin appearing after the first circle is ended. Contract reveal timing below outlines the final circle in which various contracts will spawn on the map. So you got the Bomb Plant Circle 3, Supply Run 3, 4's Most Wanted and Bounty, as well as Big Game Bounty. And then for Battle Royale Resurgence Most Wanted, contracts will now only begin appearing after the first circle is ended. Double the monetary payout for killing a Most Wanted target. For perks, new Resurgence Plunder, Loot Master, it's a new perk that spawns additional items from supply caches and give you a higher chance of getting tacticals, lethals, cash, etc. Adjustments, reactive armor now regenerates up to full armor over 35 seconds. Tracker, reduced total marked targets from 5 to 1. Close range duration decreased from 3.75 seconds to 1 second. Mid range duration decreased from 5 seconds to 1. Long range duration decreased from 7.5 seconds to 3. Grenader equipment is now deployed faster. Health regeneration delays from explosives are reduced from 5 seconds down to 3 seconds. Bomb squad damage reduction now applies to self-inflicted explosive damage, and the explosive damage reduction increased from 30 to 45%. Restock equipment regeneration time increased from 50 to 60 seconds. Scavenger decreased as well, reflexes, and then that's a delay time. Then the new weapons, we've already spoke about all these. New attachments, spoke about these. Gulag loadout, so Gulag pistol rounds. Pistols using the Gulag will now come equipped with the following attachments. These are the new default loadouts for the presets, and here are the weapon adjustments. So you'll notice that they sort of did the same thing with the barrels and the attachments and all of the different changes. So your attachments, rapid fire, everything was pretty much buffed and improved. I feel like there's definitely going to be a new meta coming in, especially with the different combos and different types of attachments that you can put on these different weapons. But it says AS Val, same exact sort of thing, improvement, increases, all the ARs pretty much, yeah. So going through all of them. And then this one actually got a nerf. So if you see the box here, this one got a nerf in terms of the actual range. So that has been reduced. The red tells you that. And then you just continue on all of them. So not much changes to the actual weapons themselves, except for a couple. So you see the MCW, MW3's weapon. The range has been slightly increased. The damage was increased by 2 for the medium damage range, but then minimum damage range has been decreased by 1. For the STG, damage has been increased. So we're seeing Modern Warfare 3 weapons here, seeing a slight buff. M13B, damage has been increased a lot from 24 all the way to 34. I think this might be a new meta weapon, so just remember that M13B, and then the damage from 19 to 23. Then going on, same thing, all attachments for the SMGs here in this case. Continuously scrolling, and then here's the actual change. Striker, MW3, the range was increased just a little bit, but the damage was reduced here, so like overall even out change, maybe a slight nerf because it also got lowered here. The Bass P right here from 28 to 34, 28 damage from 24, and then from 19 up to 21, so that also got a buff. This got a buff as well, so MW2 weapons, 35 damage, range increased slightly, also increased here, damage from medium damage range 1, and minimum damage has been increased a little bit. The Vel 46 also saw a buff. So it looks like the Black Ops 6 weapons are in a good place, but what they're trying to do here is increase the frequency of MW3 and MW2 weapons. So the Reclaimer 18, range was increased, the damage was actually increased a lot from 45 to 55, 10, and then there's also the range here. So the chances are it could end up being, you know, pretty viable weapon. And then going on down here, it doesn't do anything. From what I recall, I believe one of the snipers is now a one-shot. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so all these are the different types of attachments. The Moors, range increase, and then the minimum damage range has been increased to 120. The FJX Imperium, 180 from 150. Definitely very viable. The range has been increased a lot. And then also the minimum range damage increased. MCPR also got range increases, but no damage changes. I think, yeah, it was the Victus. I believe it is now one shot at all ranges. So you'll notice that the damage has been boosted to 180, but the range has been changed from 0 to 60 all the way to infinite. So that means infinite range, headshots are automatic downs, and then damage from 120 to 180. So minimum damage is also up, and then the range is infinite as well. So this is a very big buff. Just remember that. Very big buff. And then for the pistols, same exact sort of thing. And then the UI, they did some adjustments like helicopter icons, quality of life. Enemy helicopters will now display an icon even when flying at extreme altitudes directly above the player. Previously, these icons would disappear if the helicopter was too high despite being overhead. And then advanced splash settings for quality of life added new accessibility options for in-game splash notifications, allowing players to customize their experience based on personal preference or need. So players can basically change the position, center or right, visibility on or off. These settings can now be found under settings, interface, and this is the area. And then for the bug fixes, fix a whole lot of things. So fix the issue where MW2 and MW3 weapon attachments were missing pros and cons in description. Fix the Strider Burst mod attachment not updating the weapon HUD. Fix issues with Black Cell daily challenges. Fix the issue where the Gunslinger calling card challenge wasn't working. Yeah, so very, I guess, small changes, but it was a bunch of them. So a lot of things to go over here. And this is pretty much everything that you need to know in regards to the brand new patch notes. Well over 100 changes that have gone live today. If you did enjoy the video or find it informative, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys again later. Peace.